Welcome to this week's episode of the How To's. Now for our host, Dr. Dimitri Bradley.
Hey, this is Dr. Bradley. Excited to have you here today with us. This is the How To podcast, and we're just excited about what the Lord is doing with our podcast, and I pray that this thing is being a blessing to you. One of the subjects I want to talk about today is how to come back from a setback. You know, how many people understand that, you know, all of us experience setbacks in our life, and sometimes people don't really come back from those setbacks. So I have here in the studio with me on the day a guest, Mr. Tim Hightower, NFL vet. You are a star, father, husband, good guy, and he's going to talk to us a little bit about how to come back from a setback. So, Tim, I appreciate you being here, and welcome to the How To podcast.
Thank you.
Good. Hey, so I want to just jump into a couple of things right quick that I want to talk about. And first of all, I just want to give everybody a little bit of background about who you are and let you do that. So tell me a little bit about your path to the NFL, you know, from, because I know a little bit about you, but high school to college to getting the NFL. So tell me about your path.
Yeah, people always ask where I'm from. You know, that's kind of the story that starts. And I was born in California. My dad was in the Marines. He boxed when he was in the Marines, so a lot of that discipline, I saw a lot of that, you know, early on as a child. We moved from California to Oklahoma. We spent a good amount of time there. My parents moved there, went to Bible college there. And then when we moved to high school, we moved to the East Coast of Maryland. So there's a lot of transition, you know, in my young life. A lot of moving. Just, you know, we were moving around a lot, place to place, house to house. And when I got to high school, I knew, well, first of all, starting as a young child, I loved soccer. I didn't really know much about football.
Wow, okay.
I played soccer, religiously, year-round, indoor, outdoor travel teams. And when we were in Oklahoma, the soccer coach actually asked my dad, can he play football? My dad, he didn't like football. He had a bad experience. He said no. Long story short, you see what happened. I got out there, and there was something about football that I loved, and I stuck with it. So moving to Maryland, I finally stopped playing soccer. When you get to high school, you know, soccer and football season in the same season. So I had to make a choice, and football was a choice. I knew I wanted to play football, and I started out at Friendly High School in PG County, Maryland. Okay. And then next year went to DeMatha High School, then went back to Friendly, then went to Westlake, and then I finally ended up at Episcopal High School, which is a boarding school. Yeah. So I'm just all over the place, man, not really kind of having any roots. But football was always that
constant.
It was always that constant for me, right? Yeah. So it was good for me. It kept me grounded, and I knew I wanted, once I started doing it, I knew I wanted to do this thing, you know, at a professional level. Okay. And it kept me focused, like I said. So
about what age were you when you thought that, you know, you had the thought that, hey, you know what, I think I'd like to do this for real?
You know, actually in fifth grade.
Okay, good.
Because I know in fifth grade, I told my mom I was going to play professional football, and I wrote it on a sheet of paper and gave it to her. And I didn't really know what that meant at that time. Right. But I just would keep that with me. I would keep that paper with me, and I would carry it around everywhere with me. And I think the older I got, the more it became a reality for me, and the more I would work out, the more I would train, the more I wanted to dedicate myself to that. Right. And the more I realized that it would, you know, I didn't want to do other things. I just wanted to do this. Right. And so that, it became even more real to me. And then the different, you know, playing at a high school level, you know, as the competition got better, my desire and appetite for the game grew. Okay, good. And so for me, I knew this was something that I really had a strong desire for, because I craved those situations. I loved being, you know, when I went to DeMatha, it was more competitive. Right. I love that environment, you know, and so I ended up, like I said, finishing at Episcopal. You know, I had a lot of lofty aspirations. Everyone wants to go to Division I and play these big schools. I remember working, training, doing all this stuff. And I'm going to my senior year, I ended up breaking my foot. Yeah, I remember about that. So all the different coaches and all the different scholarships that were quote unquote on the table, they went away. And I remember thinking, man, I've been working my whole life. This is supposed to be my opportunity. Where do I go now? And you know, Richmond came along, and that's how I got the University of Richmond. They were the only scholarship offer I had. Wow. That coach came down to see me every single week. I had a boot in my foot, my broken foot, and he came down and he said, look, we still see something in you. So I went to Richmond, and I just determined, man, just to make the most out of this thing, to change that program, and then I would use this opportunity to catapult me to where I had to go. And so went to Richmond, 4 years at Richmond, man, and fortunately, got a chance to do this thing professionally.
Man, that's blessed, man. And you really did set a tone for, and not that Richmond has not been good, but I know the years leading up to it, you guys were kind of gradually getting better. You were getting a lot of attention as far as that's concerned. Yeah. And then maybe a year or two after that, they went to did he win the national championship?
They won the national championship after the guys always joke with me. So we came in, and when I came in my freshman year, I didn't know who Richmond was.
Okay.
I remember my high school coach said we had a coach from the University of Richmond. I said, University of who?
Right.
I said, is that Virginia? Is that what division are they? I didn't know anything about it. And I remember when I first got on campus, and our coach, he was a new coach, he put up our rankings on the board, and we were 100 and something. This is 1AA. It was a terrible program. It was a joke, in my opinion. And I didn't want to be a part of that.
Right.
And I looked at a couple of the young guys, the freshmen in my class, and I said, man, we got to do something about this. This is, I don't want to be a part of it. I don't want to be a part of this.
Yeah.
And they all kind of laughed, and I said, no, I'm serious. And I remember writing it down and putting it in the locker room, we're going to win a national championship.
Right.
Before I leave here, we're going to win a national championship. And each year, guys started buying into it a little bit more, the way we, how we hung out, different things. And so when I got drafted, we went to the semifinals my senior year. And then the next year, they went to the national championship.
Yeah.
So they all texting me and telling me, they said in the third, we got rid of the problem, and now we finally made it. Unfortunately, I got a chance to play in the Super Bowl, so I can send them a couple texts back. So, it all worked out.
Well, that's good stuff. That's good stuff. Well, couple questions for you, and I know you talked about you broke your foot. And I know you had an injury in the NFL too.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what this whole podcast is about coming back from a setback. Because you were saying that there were some colleges looking at you before you broke your foot.
Right.
And then kind of going to the NFL, that was a pretty serious injury. So tell me a little bit about it. Let's go to the NFL. Let's go to the game, if you don't mind. Let's go to the game and the situation. And let's talk a little bit about what happened between the incident and kind of you coming back, and let's deal with what you were thinking, your mindset, how you felt about this whole thing. So, talk to me a little bit about that.
Well, I don't know if we would have enough time in the day to cover that period of time, but I remember. Well, first of all, I got traded that offseason from Arizona to Washington. So for me, I'm thinking it was bittersweet because when you get traded, it's that feeling of you're not wanted, right? Someone's trading you because they don't want you. You don't understand necessarily the business. It's not always because they don't want you. There's a lot of different factors.
Right.
So it's bittersweet from that perspective. This is the team that drafted me. This is where I've been. This is where I made home. I've been traded. Am I really wanted? What's my value? To next thing you know, but it's home. It's Redskins. I kind of grew up here. My church family, my friends, family, school. All these things. So I was excited about that. I felt like this was a good opportunity for me. And every player wants that. You want that stage where you're that guy, right? When you can put a franchise on your back, or I can't say everybody. I did, and I was excited about that. So the beginning of the season was going well. Training camp went well. Beginning of the season was going well, and I felt like things were escalating. I was preparing for that pinnacle, of my career, and it seemed like a typical day. We're playing Carolina. We're on the road. I feel good. I have a great warm-up. I got my right playlist going. Everything feels good, man. And I remember coming out of the first half and having a strong first half. I want to say it was 80-something or 90-something yards.
You were balling. I was watching that game.
I felt good. I felt real good. And I remember Coach came in there and he's like, hey, look, I'm going to put this thing on your back. I need you to get us out of here, right? And so my mindset just goes in a different mode. 1, 2, 3 carries in the first half. I get the ball again. It's a move that I've done before, something that seems so routine, but next thing I know, my knee just gave out. It just shifted, it buckled. I felt and I've never been in pain like that before. I've never been in pain like that, and I'm thinking I'm going to get up, jump up, I can walk it off.
Right.
They knew right away. They're like, they want to take me to the locker room. I'm thinking no, but I denied it for a long time, but at that time, I didn't realize how serious it was. I thought it was just an ACL, but after finding out the different, all the different things that took place, that should have been a career-ending injury. Okay. So, you go from this being possibly the pinnacle of a career to the end.
Right.
It's what now, what next? So, man, to answer your question, to get back to trying to answer your question, what happened in between that? I remember the first thing I did after the tears and all that stuff was I did the same thing I did as a fifth grader. Right. I took out a sheet of paper and I just started writing. Okay. Because it's when I was at that, when you're that emotional, when I was at that state,
right.
And I couldn't do it. I'm laying up in a hospital bed. There's nothing I could do but just start writing again. Right. Just writing down all these different things that these visions that I saw, and I had to write it because I couldn't necessarily do it.
Thanks for watching the How To's. Please like and share the video and leave a comment below to tell us what you think. You can also visit us at DimitriBradley.com for more things about Pastor Bradley. And please, don't forget to subscribe to City TV.